Hello, in this video I'm going to go over some more basic functions of Blender. So again, if you've done Blender Basics, this is probably a review. If you haven't, this is a chance to learn sort of directly from me about how to work in Blender. So, am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. Okay, so basically this is where I'm going to introduce, I think, modifiers, and I'd like to kind of show you some modeling techniques in Blender. So we have a cube here. Now what's great about cubes are, cubes are 3D, so it's an enclosed space. You already have something that's valid in 3D space. So starting with the cube. Now a cube is kind of a little boring, and if you tab into edit mode, you'll notice the geometry is very simple. We only have 8 vertices. If you get into how this is programmed, there's actually a lot more going on than that, but Blender makes it real simple. There's just 8 vertices, and there's 6 planes, 1 on the bottom, 1 on the top, and the 4 around the sides. So this is a cube. Now, I need more geometry to play with, because right now I only have 8 verts. That's boring. I don't want to just play with 8 verts, so I need to get more. So there's ways to do that in Blender. What we want to do is subdivide this cube. So to subdivide it, you can do that a couple ways. One, I believe, is it under tools? I don't know how to find it under tools. Oh no, you're right here, subdivide. So you can click here, subdivide, and then it says number of cuts, 1, and then there's a smoothness thing. So if you just set cuts to 2, then it does 2 cuts in each direction, or 3, it does 3. So I'm just going to cut twice in each direction, so I end up with this shape where there's 9 faces on each side. So I've just added a lot of geometry. So that's subdividing one way. If you want to do something a little bit quicker, there's another way. There's a shortcut. So if you press W, it brings up the specials menu, and then you just press S again, and then it subdivides. So WS. So WS, WS, WS makes a whole bunch of geometry. Now you can Control Z to undo because it's too many verts. Let's leave it there. Or no, go back to just go back to just here. So here's my cube. Now if I render it, it still looks just like the regular cube. Nothing has changed, and that's because the geometry isn't necessarily going to show, unless you have specific textures that are linked to these verts. Right now we have a lot of extra verts, but they don't mean anything yet. We got to change stuff so that we can see them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in face select mode, and I'm going to select this top face here, and I'm just going to translate it upwards along the z-axis. So I'm going to do that by pulling on the blue handle, and by pulling it up in space, you see it just kind of changes it, and we get this weird kind of shape here. I'm going to render it. Now you notice here there's these triangles being formed, and in here it's kind of hard to see the triangles, but basically what you have going on is there's a face between these points, and because a face is a minimum of 3 points and they all have to be lined up in the same plane, it means that if you have 4 points making a face and they're not lined up, it just doesn't work. So that's not really the right way to do that. So if we wanted to make that shape, we need to add more geometry. So I'm going to show you how to do that. There's this tool called the knife tool, and knife tool works best, I feel, in vertex mode. So deselect everything, press the knife tool. It's right here, or you can press K. Cut new topology. Now, when you put the tool over the shape, the vert will light up, and that shows you, okay, you're on the vert. So you click on the vert, and then click on this other vert, and then to confirm this is what you want to do, you got to press spacebar or enter. So I'm going to press spacebar, and then now I got this edge right here. Now I'm going to repeat this on the other verts on the corners. And see, now I have these triangles, and triangles, aren't necessarily the most efficient way to build things in Blender. There's a lot of reading you can do about this, but basically I try to always model in quads. And modeling in quads means that Blender is going to have to turn them into triangles, and that's a problem if your geometry is bad. But if you got good geometry, it's actually, I think it might be more efficient to do that. But what we did right now is we set up these triangles. Now let's try moving this face again, and you'll see things moved a lot smoother. And if we go render image, now we get what you would expect. There's not that weird triangle thing going on. Okay, so I just did that, and now this looks a lot like a house. So let's keep building on this idea. It's a house. So if this is a house, you know what a house needs? A door. So I'm going to turn these two faces into a door. So to do that, I'm going to stay in face select mode. I'm going to select these two by holding shift, right click, select these two. And what would happen? What do you think would happen if I just took this green handle and dragged it in? But based on what happened earlier, you know, it's not going to look pretty, right? See, it just kind of caves in. That's not really what we want. What we want is for these faces to go inwards. Control Z. We want these faces to go inwards, and we want actually new mesh to be generated that's connecting it from here to here. We want to make it look like a door, like a doorway. Okay. So to do that, we're actually going to do this a new function. It's called Extrude. Extrude is used by use the shortcut E, or you can do this. So you just click Extrude Region, and then that blue line lights up. It's saying, hey, I think you're going to try to extrude that direction. So it's like, oh, yes, Blender, that's what I want to do. And you drag that geometry in where you want it. And now you have a door. And if we render it now, oh, we can't see it. Oh no, where did our door go? Okay, this seems like end of the world, but it's really not. Okay, so what's happening here is we made a door. Our door is not on the side of the house that we can see at the moment. So I'm going to do some fancy stuff here. Yeah, so it should be showing up. It's right here, but you can't see it because it's dark, okay? So we need to move our light. So what do you mean, Ash? Where's the light? Let me show you. So we got to go in object mode. So tab in object mode, and we need to grab this light source here. That's the light. And we're going to just shift it over to the front of our model. Now if we render image, you can see the door. Now if we zoom in here, oh no, what is that? Okay, that grainy grossness, that is duplicate faces. So let's fix that. Let's fix the duplicate faces. So to do that, you're going to exit render mode, and you're going to tab into edit mode with your object selected. It shows up here. And what we want to do is either remove a duplicate face or give some space between these faces so that they're not on top of each other. So I'm going to go with the second option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, go to face select mode, select like the threshold of my door, and not any of the walls, just one. Select this, and then I'm going to bring, ew. That doesn't do what I want it to do. So if I try to do that, it's not being nice. So what I'm going to do is I need, again, more geometry. So the way that I did that, there's two faces there. Let's just try deleting a face to see what happens. So let's just select this face, hit delete, and then when you hit delete, there's option this context menu pops up. Now you can select delete faces, or only faces, or dissolve faces. Now these options are all very complicated. I'd say only faces. Okay. So what this does is it deleted the face right there, and now we just have this one face, and that's not the face I wanted. So Control Z. Control Z. Okay. So which face do we want? So you can hide things in Blender by pressing H. So what I'm going to do is select this bottom face here, the big face, not the one for my threshold. And I'm going to press H, and that hides it. And now I'm free to select, actually wait, Alt H to unhide. What I think I actually want to do is delete the bottom face. So we delete the bottom face, and then I'll fix the geometry. So I got the bottom face selected. I'm going to press delete only faces, and now it's gone and everything works. And if I render image, it looks fine. You know, the graininess is gone. It's because now there's not two faces on top of each other. So now I'm going to go below, and now I got this hole here, and that's no good. And I also have this problem where this is going to be transparent, and that's no good. So what I'm going to do is select all of my bottom faces, and I'm going to E for extrude. And now I got a gap there. And then I'm going to build some geometry below here. So to do that, face select mode, these faces here, I don't plan on keeping those, so just delete only those faces. You see these edges, I don't really need these edges, so I will delete edges. And do I need these points? Not really. So I'll delete these extra points. And so basically now I just need to build the faces on the front and below. So to do that, I'm going to introduce a new thing now. This is called fill. So it's the F key. And what F key does depends on what you have selected. So if you have 2 points selected, it makes an edge. If you have 3 or more verts selected, it makes a face. So what I'm going to do is make a face on the bottom. So I'm going to select these 4 verts. See, and I'm going to press F. And now I made a face. And I'm going to select these 4 verts and make a face. So I have just finished that geometry. Now it's all good, you know, all solid. If I render image, now it looks nicer. I got this little space down below. Okay. Now next you might wonder, okay Ash, that's great. I just made a stupid little house in Blender. Okay, what do I do with this next? Well, you might want to add color. Adding color is a little tricky. So to add color is probably going to be another video. So I'll probably just want to leave it here. So before I move on and conclude this video, I just want to summarize. So we have used vertex transformations to turn a cube into a house. We did that by selecting vertices using right click and holding shift to select multiple. We have fixed problems in our render by troubleshooting our mesh, adding and removing geometry. And we had to troubleshoot not seeing our door because the light source needed to be moved. And we learned to do that by hopping into object mode, finding our light, and then moving it around our scene. Okay, so that is probably all the content for this video. Please try these things out on your own. If you have questions, you ask me in class, or you can type these, respond to this video on Canvas. Thank you very much for watching.